Welcome, Allotopians, to part 2 of my haunted history. Now this video is titled, This House Hates Me. All the events that I am going to speak about that really happen, and as far as I do know, the hauntings continue in this house. The year, it was end of 1989. We bought a new house and we moved in. Now, one thing that everybody has to know is my mother was a type of person. First thing that gets done is you hang the curtains. So the curtains were hung. We went and we unpacked our bedrooms and all things like that. Now, let's back up a little bit. As you come into the house, the lounge area was about the size of a 2-bedroom apartment. Then it had a passage, had 2 main bedrooms, each about the size of a bachelor apartment, 1 smaller bedroom that we made the study, then a dining room area about the size of a bachelor apartment, the kitchen, and then if you go to the left, you enter the wash area, another bathroom, and into the what we called the entertainment area, the TV room as we called it. This was about the size of about a 3-bedroom apartment. Now this had sliding doors that led to the pool, but we're gonna get to that. About 3 p.m. No. We had everything done by about 3 p.m. We decided to break the new house in with a braai, or as you guys call it, a barbecue. And about 7:30, my mother asked my brother and I to go and close the curtains in the lounge. So we go. Now, the lounge, it had 3 enormous windows. From ceiling to ground, it was big. That's why it was best for 2 of us to do it. As we step into the lounge, we both stop, dead in our tracks. My brother looks towards me. He says, "Do you see what I see?" I look back at him. I say, "I don't know what you see, but there's a man sitting in the corner." Now in the corner of the lounge we had a single-seater couch. But that was one thing. There was also a dog that was continuously growling at us. So, guess what? Those curtains were not closed that night. The next morning, my mother did crap us out for not closing the curtains. and we just both said, shit, it slipped our minds. Believe me, from that day, by 3 p.m., those curtains were closed. That was part number 1 to the story. The man and the dog in the lounge. Didn't bother anybody, didn't move around, didn't walk, didn't talk. Just had a musky smell towards the evenings. So we left it just like that. We never really spoke about it ever again. But then strange things started to happen. Now, when you went to the 2 main bedrooms, there was a bathroom toilet. And it had a concertina door. Now, doesn't matter who was bathing, the other people would always be in the TV room. So you pretty much, you could leave the door open because no one was going to come there unless you called. But we always closed the door, but never latched it. Because the one time I did latch it, I remember it like yesterday. I saw the handle twisting to unlatch the door, and it opened up about an inch. I tell you, I jumped out of that bath, I dried myself, and I ran, and I saw everybody was exactly where they were when I left. I asked my brother, did you just come and try and give me a fright? He said, no. Why? So I said, okay, I'll tell you tonight when we go to bed. When we went to bed, my brother asked me what happened. So I said, well, the door unlatched itself and started to open. This was apparently no surprise to him because the same thing happened to him. Again, we blow it off, we don't pay attention to it, nothing like that. Now, as you go out the TV room, you go down 3 steps into a little courtyard that leads up to the double garage, to the servants' quarters, and then into the backyard with the pool. Now the pool it wasn't an Olympic size, it was about a meter short. It was a big pool. Now, my brother and I, we love to swim. But when we moved into the house, we couldn't at least swim for about the first month because the water was totally green, algae. It was bad. My dad had to fix the pump. We had to shock treat the pool over and over. So we didn't swim for the first month. Eventually, when everything was fixed and the pool was nice and clean, we could start swimming again. And boy, did we swim. Now the pool had 2 lights in it, one on the shallow side, one on the deep side, pretty bright lights. That worked for about a week. But nonetheless, we didn't really swim at night. And this is why. Swimming during the day, you would have not a single problem. None in this world. Absolutely nothing. But swimming at night is where things got uneasy. You would swim from the shallow side about halfway to the deep side and you turn around and you come back. Not because the pool was so big, because after that halfway mark, there was a force. How can I describe it? It was like pulling you down. Now, at the time, we had a police dog. His name was Captain. A utterly fearless dog. But at night, that dog would not go to the back of the yard. Our maid would make sure that dishes and everything was done before it got dark, because she would go to her room and lock it, because she was a, what we call in South Africa, sangoma, and she said the spiritual energy is bad. It didn't like us. Yeah. It was something I was gonna find out the hard way. A few months later, my brother unfortunately passed away. And that was towards the end of winter. So there was no swimming during the whole winter months or anything. So I kind of forgot about what was going on by the pool. Spring came that year on my birthday. Had a bit of a birthday party. Let me just tell you, I'm not a very sociable person. I did not have many friends in school. Not because I couldn't get friends, it was by choice. But that evening of my birthday, my aunt and them came over for a birthday braai or barbecue, and my cousins, my 2 cousins and I, we said, well, we're gonna swim. They swam with no problems. I couldn't get past halfway of the pool. I just couldn't. My body would freeze and I would turn back. Now, remember what I'm gonna tell you now. My cousins are Afrikaans speaking. I'm English. Remember that. It's gonna be very important at the end of this part 2. In any case, they called me a wuss, they called me chicken. I didn't care, because there was no freaking way in hell I was gonna even walk around to the deep side and dive in from there, because I couldn't move past halfway point. Now my dad noticed what was happening. Didn't say anything. He noticed what was happening. And so summer started, I'm swimming, and I swam. I mean, I'm talking about on school days, I would swim about 3 hours a day. Weekends and holidays, I would be in the water about 6 hours a day. Easy. But from about 6:30, I did not do laps in the pool anymore. My dad kept on noting this. My dad noted our maid would lock her room up solidly. The dog wouldn't go to the backyard to me. Then one day my dad, it was quite late, he came home work a little bit later, but the pool needed to be backwashed, and he went to the back. He asked for my help to hold the torch, because we didn't have a light by the pump. And I said, Dad, I can't get past this point. And he kind of got a little bit agitated with me, but he took the torch himself and he went and done it, swearing all the way. And that's when it happened to him. He felt something brush down his back. No marks or anything, just brush down his back. He came back, he was Snow White. She says, Alan, what do you know about the back of this yard? I said, Dad, I don't know what it is, but it doesn't like us, and it definitely doesn't like me. My mom had no problems at all. As summer holiday came, before we went on summer vacation, my dad was swimming one night. Sure as hell, he stopped dead center of that pool, and he said, something is pulling me down. I says, yes, Dad, something pulls you down. Now, in the back of the yard, we had a little Wendy house. It was full of a lot of junk. And we had bees in that little area. And the bee catcher or beekeeper or whatever, I do apologize for that little jump in time. My daughter wanted something. Okay, a swarm of bees had made a nest inside that Wendy house. uh, inside a car seat that we had there. It was a car, we redid my dad's Merc, and the old car seat was laying there, and that's where they decided they were gonna go and make their nest. We phoned the beekeeper in the morning. Beekeeper said, listen here, he cannot make it straight away. He'll only be able to get to us that evening. My dad and myself looked at each other. Okay, well, that guy's gonna do it alone, because I wasn't gonna go there. My dad was reluctant to go there, but my dad went. In any case, that was a terrifying house, terrifying yard. But I had some of the best years there. Some of the roughest years, but some of the best. We eventually moved away from there to a, thank goodness, a ghost-free house. And just before we left, my dad said to me, Alan, do what you do. Find out what's going on. I was very reluctant to do it. I was scared shitless, because the feeling that I felt in that backyard was pure fear. It wasn't I was scared of the dark or anything. I'm not scared of the dark. I was scared of that backyard. And I went there. Now, by this time, I'm like a 13-year-old kid. I went to the back of the yard, sat down on the grass, just past the halfway mark to the pool. I wanted to be where I could get into safety fairly quickly. And I just started to speak. The replies I got were not friendly. They were all in Afrikaans, telling me to, in Afrikaans the word is fuck off. English would mean to fuck off. They don't want me there. Other words were also said to me. The feeling I got, I had my back of my hair pulled. It felt like somebody smacked me. It wasn't nice. I went back into the house and I told my dad what they told me. And my dad said he got the same thing. My mother went to the back of the yard. She got nothing. Now my mother was actually Afrikaans. My dad and myself are purebred English. In any case, a few years went by, but this kept on nagging on me. What was the problem there? And eventually I found out that that whole area was on a Boer concentration camp grave. That's what that whole area about a mile by a mile was old graves from the Boer War. And why they didn't like my father and myself being English is because of that. We were English. Our forefathers put them in those graves. Extremely. It's the feeling that I got there, I have never felt before. Ever. I have never been anywhere. Well, one other place, but I'll get to that. But no, not even. That I felt petrified. That I felt so unwelcome. And I consider myself a very likable person. To the spirits that I have communicated with in the past, and all and everything, I have never been that petrified in my life. Allotopians, thank you for listening to this story. Leave a comment below. This was part 2, my haunted history. This house hates me. Part 3 will be my brother's homecoming. Will be a much shorter video, but I might skip part 3 and go straight to part 4. Yeah, I might skip part 3 and you'll just get a part 4. I have got to be emotionally ready for part 3. But there will be a part 3, the homecoming. Part 4 will start with my adventures. Allotopians, thank you very much for listening to this. Like this video, share it out. I will see yous next time.